All right, everybody, welcome back this week. Our first boxer on the podcast, which is a big one for us. Very cool. A bit of local talent, GC's finest, Benny Mahoney. First of all, before we get to the first question, I want to thank today's sponsor, Blackboard Varsity Lakes. Obviously, it's one of the best coffee shops on the Gold Coast, and they're helping us out and supporting us, and obviously supporting Benny too. So get down and see Dan and the guys down there, and also Enhanced Official on Instagram, looking after us for the CBD and all that sort of stuff. Benny, appreciate you jumping on, man. We really do. It's been a long time coming, and yeah, obviously a week and a bit removed from the fight with Lockie Higgins down at Wildfighter. How's the body feeling now? Obviously, went the distance, so I suppose being back in there after a little bit of a layoff. How's the body feeling, and is everything back to regular training now?
Yeah, look, I appreciate you having me on here. I'll start with that, and big shout out to Dan and Blackboard. Actually, just legends, love them all. But yeah, look, I feel pretty good, man. Like literally after the fight, did not have a sore mark on me. I felt great. I could have fought again the next day. Obviously, I had almost a year out of the ring. It would have been a year yesterday or the day before, so it was good to get back in. This year I kind of committed to, obviously, not that it's a problem or I do it often, but, when you're off season, you drink and you have a bit of fun or whatever. I committed to doing the year sober just so I can stay ready all year. There's no hiccups. There's no, might be ready, might be not. And already in April, I've already got my first notch on the belt. So, yeah, it was good to get back in. First few rounds was just trying to get my bearings back. Obviously, I've been sparring with Zerafa down in Melbourne. I've been feeling really good doing that, and he's been helping me out heaps. And I felt sharp, so I thought, we had 8 days, and I thought, we'll jump in, get the wheels going. I knew I could beat Bubba. I fought him a long time ago. He's a lot better and a lot bigger than I thought he was. But, first few rounds kind of got my bearings, and by round 3, I was kind of in cruise control. So I feel good, no injuries. We're back. I went for a run on Monday following the fight, and I was straight back into the gym. And, yeah, we're back on doing track and boxing now, and looking to go ASAP.
Awesome.
Well, that's what we want to hear. So, speaking on the fight against Higgins, from my perspective, you showed such great patience. You could really see that you were kind of taking your time to get the feel of the fight and to kind of methodically pick him apart. I think one area that was really a standout as well was your footwork and timing. Whilst only having just over a week and a bit to prepare for Higgins, do you think having this past year off, which mind you is through no fault of your own, and being just purely dedicated to the gym and really honing your craft is going to be really beneficial for you in the long run of your career?
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. To be honest with you, me and Joshy didn't even really look at Bubba's fights. We didn't look at any. I think we watched a fight, one of his fights, the recent ones, the day before we fought at the weigh-in kind of thing. I didn't think about it. There's, 8 days. You don't have enough time to game plan. You don't have enough time to run through. We've been in the gym boxing every day this year. We haven't stopped in a long time. So I trust my eyes. I'm a counter fighter naturally. So pushing a bit of aggression. I knew going up to middleweight on short notice. I did my last spar. It was a Saturday prior to the fight. So we got 8 rounds out. So I knew I just had 8 in the tank. I had to be kind of a little bit more smart. Usually I like to get in and, throw some bombs and try and hurt them and get them out. But I knew that if I started off crash hot and my gas went, towards the later round, Bubba is one of the guys, he bombs, he's bigger than me. I wasn't likely to get the stoppage. And if I kind of gas out mid-rounds, he's still going to come home strong. So I just kind of took my time. First couple of rounds I dropped just to kind of get a feel, see what his power was like, see what his flow's like. And then once I kind of got his rhythm, obviously the counters and the popping and the moving, I just kind of did what I needed to do to get through. I wanted to get out uninjured and just get another win, get another notch on the belt.
You did kind of touch on it there, which is actually my next question, Benny, was you've had your fair share of stoppage wins over the course of, your extensive Muay Thai career as well as boxing.
Yep.
Although last Saturday went to a decision, was just getting some good quality rounds in, after the layoff. Do you think that was more important for you getting that time under your belt rather than hunting for a finish?
I think so. And that's kind of what the goal was. Obviously, if the knockout's there, beauty, I'll take it. But I wasn't going to force it. Again, going up to middleweight, going on a week's notice, been a year out of the ring. I didn't know what to expect. So I wasn't going to go out there and be silly. Everything rides on every fight at this point in my career. So I've got to make sure that I'm switched on the whole time. And so, I just took it easy, took it slow, and I knew I could counter box him and move and win. And, instead of throwing second phases. I was just sticking to the one counter shots. I was practicing my defense a little bit, the shoulder roll, using my angles. I was just kind of, by around 5-6, I was kind of just in a bit of a flow, just trying to practice catching counters. And I knew I had the fight, and it was just about staying switched on and not dropping the ball and doing anything silly.
For sure. So speaking on the year off, Benny, you were actually scheduled for the fight with Wade Ryan back in November. I remember seeing that you had to pull out because of all the crazy vaccine mandates going on and whatnot. And I was really looking forward to that fight for you personally, as I think Ryan would have been a good step up in competition and you two would make for an amazing fight. Does that fight with Ryan still interest you, or do you think that that ship has sailed now on that fight?
It's hard to say. Look, I love that fight. I've been wanting that fight for a long time. Before I even was boxing, when I had like 4 or 5 fights, I wanted to fight Wade. You know, people say he's the gatekeeper of the division. You know, he's bar that last loss to Dennis Hogan. You know, he's on a good win streak. He's with no limit. He's doing good things. And you know, he's getting better every fight. I feel like he's the best he's ever been to date now. So I was looking forward to that, and I do think I could. Personally, I think I could box his ears off, and I wanted that fight. But obviously, with everything going on, you know, they changed it pretty close to the fight, and I haven't had my vaccines yet, and I had no problems with doing that. I went and got them anyway. But you know, everyone has adverse reactions, and I didn't want to, you know, run the risk of getting crook a week out or 2-3 weeks out from the fight. That's a week gone, then you take another week to get back into it. And then neither of my coaches, you know, they have families, they have jobs, they have, you know, shit they got to do. So to get over, there was a kind of like a compile of shitty situations that we couldn't get around. I said to Josh, I'm like, I was considering going over by myself to do it. But that's just, like I said before, everything rides on every fight, and I don't really have time to play. So I want to make sure that when we do take each fight, we can put them away and get the job done. I would love that fight. I don't know if he would take it. You know, coming off that loss with Dennis, you know, I think we were trying to get that fight down in Melbourne on the Zerafa card, and I don't think they would wanted it. I'm not too sure the finer details of that, but look, I would love to fight Wade, but for me, I think I've got one more here, and then I want to go international. I don't want to get caught up in the Australian circuit. You know, you see it a lot that there's nothing wrong with it, man. Like there's a lot of great promoters here. There's a lot of great guys, great talent. And, you know, but I just don't want to get caught in that loop. I'm number 2 now under Tim, and Tim's off. Tim's mandatory. He's doing states, credit to him. But, you know, I'm number 2. So realistically, I'm the top dog here at the moment. And I don't want to sit around on the shelf and fight the same guys over and over and over. And then eventually get lazy, get clipped, lose a fight, whatever it may be. And then end up falling down the ranks and having to do it again. I'm right there now. Let's go, kind of thing.
100%, Brad. I think that's actually leading into my next question is, you know, you've knocked off your first fight of the year. That's ticked off. It's April, so it's still early in the year. So I know you obviously would like to be as active as possible. How many would you like to have this year? And are there any names that come to mind straight away? I mean, obviously, I know you said 2 fights, you know, one more fight and you're off to the States. So if it's your last fight, you know, on home soil, any name takers you can get?
Mate, to be honest, if I could get an international in, I'd do that. I don't see anyone here that I really like. For me, I don't care who I fight, as long as it's progression in the right step. I don't worry about who I'm fighting, when I'm fighting. I can beat anyone here hands down, and that's not being, you know, arrogant. That's just me having confidence in that. You know, everyone's under me at this point for a reason. I think, you know, Wade's a good hard fight. That's a good fight for me. I would like that. But other than that, you know, you look down the rankings, you know, the guys that are under I've beaten, it would just be, that's exactly what I'm talking about with that, getting caught up in the circuit. You don't want to fight. You don't want to have to go up to middleweight. You don't want to have to take fights. I don't really see anyone in Australia right now that I would want to reach out to fight. You know, if I could get an international, it would be epic. It'd be so good. So that's probably what we're going to try and do. But again, we'll just see how we go. I'll train and prepare for whoever that, you know, my team deems suitable to put in front of me, and I'll go get the job done.
For sure. So you touched on it earlier, which is we saw a few weeks ago you went down to Melbourne and got some rounds in with Michael Zerafa, and he was also at your fight. How did you find those rounds and sessions, and what, if anything, do you feel you gained from it, either technically or from the mental approach to the game?
So, man, I've got absolutely nothing but love for Mick. He's an absolute legend. You know, I know he's copped a lot of back flack from all the shit going on. But people don't know the ins and outs. People don't know the situation. People just want to rag him out on the internet and be nasty, man. And sometimes it's a horrible scene to be in because of that. But, you know, the experiences that I've had with him, he's been nothing but an absolute legend, a phenomenal boxer, phenomenal human. Him and his team, Sam Laverina, his partner, they're all absolute gold. So big shout out to Michael. Love him heaps. You know, they jumped into my corner in that last fight because me and Joshy went down on that short notice. It was me, my partner Emily, and my dad, my old man came down. We got him in the corner too. So that was a cool experience for him. And yeah, Mick was in the back. He was really calming, really good. A lot of good advice. Very, you know, confirming that, you know, you're ready to go. We've been doing this in the gym. Like, it was awesome. It was so good to have him in the corner. Really level-headed. So the rounds we've been doing with him when we were in Melbourne, really good. He's sharp, man. He's very sharp. He's very fit. He adapts, and he's got some good kick in his hands too. So the rounds were really good. I picked up a few things. I won't go into it, but I picked up a few little things, you know, a few conversations we had. And I feel like every time we spar, there's this kind of level, and we're constantly adapting and chatting about just little things like, whether it's footwork or staying focused or, you know, little level changes, just little things that, you know, they're the 1%ers that go the long distance, you know. But yeah, it was an absolute privilege to go down, and we appreciate it. I'm not too sure. I think we might be going down at the end of the week. I think they might already have sparring organised, but I think this will be his last week sparring before his fight in 2-3 weeks, or I think 2 weeks.
Yeah, yep. Awesome. Benny, I know, look, mate, I know we've talked about it a bit, about you going to the States, and I applaud you a lot for that because it's quite easy to stick around and just be comfortable and stick around the Australian circuit and just box guys, you're 40, you know, it's easy to do that. The hard thing to do is to go to the States and challenge yourself, so I respect that, the hell out of you for that. I know we sort of spoke about that's, you know, one or two fights away. Is there a time frame that you've got that locked in by, or is it just something that just, you know, when it happens, it happens? Or is it this year, you know, this year is going to be the one?
This year, yeah. Like I'm 27. I know I'm not old. I'm also not young. You know, I jumped into the sport. I've only been boxing since 2018 full time. So I've been in the scene a lot less than these guys, and I've jumped the rankings a lot quicker than these guys. And I'm at this point where I'm like, what's the point of staying around? Like, you only get one shot at this, and you know, I could easily sign with a local promotion, comfortably fight 5 times a year, fight bums, fight the guys, and I could make good money. There's not a lot of money in the sport, especially in Australia, but you know, I could do that. I could do the circuit, get good sponsors. Like, I could do that comfortably, but that's not what I want to do. I want to go to the States. I want to get my ass kicked in sparring. I want to get belted. I want to learn. I want to go do rounds with the best. And then everyone I speak to that's done it or been there, they'll go, it's not what you think it is. You'll be the B-side. All this shit. I don't care. Like, coming in from Muay Thai, being a skinny little kid in a Muay Thai gym, just fighting for the sake of it, taking step-ups my whole life. And I was playing part, I was getting thrown in the deep end from day dot. So coming into boxing, same thing. I would jump straight into the deep end. My first, you know, 4 or 5 fights, the guys that I fought had positive records. They were undefeated fighters. They were, you know, really good guys. And I was winning these fights. And now that I've been taking it seriously, you know, I've got a couple of really good names and scouts under my belt. I don't want to wait around. I just, the biggest fear I have is just, you know, wasting this opportunity that I got. And I've got such a good team, all my sponsors, my family, my friends. I've got a massive support crew on the coast, which I'm super grateful for. You know, so I want to just stick with the momentum. I want to give this a red hot shot, you know, and like everyone's all, this is the Mayweather effect. They're worrying about their undefeated records. I don't care. You know, I've lost Muay Thai fights. I've been dropped. I've been cut. I've been beaten up, whatever. Like, I just want to give this a red hot shot, go over there and just put, you know, Australia, George Kambosos, he's put Australia on the map. He is undisputed. Like the best fighter in the world in that division, period. That's huge. You know, you got Tim Tszyu over there fighting those guys. You know, you got a lot of world level dudes and girls as well. Ebony Bridges just won the world title. Nicholson's over there, fought twice in, you know, a month or so. You know, so she's killing it. They're all killing it. And I want to be among those names. And you know, when we look back on this, I want to be one of the best to ever do it out of Australia. You know,
yeah, for sure. So something I wanted to ask you is, after your fight with Benjamin Hussein, in regards to your opponent's toughness, you said, all credit to Ben, he's tough as nails, but in my opinion, he didn't need to be that tough. I know if I came back to the corner with my jaw in half, my coach would have been saying, stop. Do you think there is a negative connotation built into most combat sports where throwing in the towel when it could be the correct decision for your long-term health is seen as cowardly or seen as quitting?
The narrative changes depending on the person, I guess. For me, we have lives. We have partners, we have families, we have businesses. We, as athletes, it's the entertainment. I get it. And at the end of the day, in my mind, like Ben did, he kept fighting. His jaw was hanging out of his face, and he kept fighting because everything's on the line. We want to make millions of dollars. We want to win world titles. We want our name on the wall. Like, it's not his job to sit down and go, I'm done. As a fighter, an athlete, ego, whatever it may be, you want to keep going, to prove something to yourself. And, if you go back to the corner, and like my coach, Josh, he's been with me since day one, Boon Shoe days, he's a brother to me, an older brother. And if I went back to the corner and he saw my face like that, he would be like, dude, we will take this, we will move forward, we'll get you healthy, and we'll come back stronger. Like, there's no need to try, especially if you look like I was beating Ben. I think he won like one round. Like, I was winning the fight regardless. It wasn't like I was going to lose or he was going to win if it went to points or whatever. Like, there was no benefit to that. And I think that, yes, he's unbelievably tough. I've had a broken jaw before, and it's fucking horrible. It's the worst feeling. But for him to go back in and out, I saw in the promo clips he's looking at his corner, pointing at his jaw, going like, "What's going on?" kind of thing. Every time I hit him, his mouth guard would come out. The referee would pick it up and put it back in his mouth. What was the referee doing? What was the referee going? Dude, your jaw's out. The fight's off. The ref should have called first and foremost, because it happened in the first round. It was like I think it was the first right hand I threw.
Yep.
And the second right hand I threw two back to back within about 30 seconds. And so that was round one. And the referee, the corner, they let it go. It's completely off Ben's back. I think he's tough. He's a beast. I think, I was a bit, I'm not dirty, but like after the fight, I put on a performance. I broke his jaw. I did all this kind of stuff, and the consensus was, oh, how tough's Hussein? That's, all that came out of it. You know what I mean? And that's the way it should be. It should be like, I don't know. I think that, longevity, again, Ben, he's got a family, all that kind of stuff. All credit to him, respect to him. He's tough as nails, and he's got a lot of talent. He's a problem, in the division, especially when he gets some experience under his belt. But yeah, I do think that comes off him. It shouldn't be his problem. It should be the corner. It should be the referee. It should be the doctor ringside. Like, that's their job.
Mate, I will say quickly, just to interject, as well as many people said Hussein's toughness was the main thing out of that fight. You got a good rub from Rogan, so that's what matters, mate.
Oh,
Rogan, mate, that's pretty cool.
It was sick. And I was a slap in the face when I woke up. I was like, so I was shit. Hopefully some more noise over the next couple of years and get myself on there.
Yeah, 100%, man. Look, last question for me, man. I know I've seen that pic of you and Adesanya from a few years back, and I know you guys still keep in contact and whatnot. And I see him liking your pics, and it's cool. I'm like, wow, Adesanya, he's a big name, and obviously, you've known him for a little bit. So, what is it like for you on a motivational level to see a guy like Izzy reach the heights he has in MMA and combat sports? What impact does that have, if any, on your own career and really seeing what's possible and the ceiling you can really reach?
Man, for me, it's all very surreal. Like I said before, when I first started this, I didn't have any expectations. I just came into the sport as a young kid where I was going through some drama in life, and I found a sport that I loved. I was in the gym every day at 4 p.m. I would train. No matter how sad I was, what was going on outside, I would have that home to go back to and train. And then once I started fighting, I had my first fight, and it sounds cliche, but the rush I had. Then when I looked back at the fight, the thing that actually kept me and captivated me was I watched that fight back as a kid, and I was just like, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. It was horrible. I was just swinging my arms around. But I just wanted to be better than I was, and that's all it was for me originally. I never wanted to struggle financially. I never wanted to, be out of home. I never wanted to be going through the shit that I was going through when I was young. So my only option was to fight. And to get to the point where this is my career, I'm doing this full time, and I've got guys like Izzy, Volks. I've got a lot of guys at that high level that I chat to, or that just even support me in general. Like, it's such, like a tap on the back to say you're doing the right thing, you've made the right choices. And man, like to be on even the mention on the Rogan podcast, that stuff is so like mind boggling. I can imagine. Yeah, apprehended. And even, like when I had that first fight, my first stadium fight, I fought on the Horn Mundine undercard. And when I out, I fought in front of 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. I fought in China, NZ and stuff, and they were pretty good stadiums, and you get the morale, it's sick. But then when I fought in the stadium, I walked out, and it was just it was another pinch me moment. I saw got the big walkout with the big camera in your face. It's bloody awesome. So yeah, it's a blessing for me. You know what I mean? And it's just a runway to say, you're doing the right things. You're going in the right direction. Keep going, kind of thing. If I've got to where I am from where I was now I have the base and the support to get to where I know I can get to. It's all good things.
100%, man. Well, look, Benny, I know you probably got some training this afternoon you got to get to, and I appreciate you giving us your time, man. It's been a long time coming. I really do appreciate it. We both of us, when I speak for Alex and I, we both appreciate you coming on and giving us some time. We'd love to chat to you again after your next performance, man.
No, done deal, and I appreciate it. I thank you for the platform. Thanks for getting me on, and yeah, it has been a long way overdue.
Anytime, brother. Thanks for coming on, man.
All right, then. See you, boys.
See you, bro.